A few of you have wanted to know what was on that mysterious 911 call to the police that got Jason Kepler, or Koppler, I guess, shot. Well, guess what? We do have an excerpt from it. We're going to play it here and talk about it. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
We're out here in front of the site where police say on Monday night, December 12th at around 11 p.m., shots rang out.
Shots fired into 41-year-old Jacob Harley Kloepfer's camper by Cherokee Indian Reservation Police SWAT team leave him with a bullet in the knee and another in his gut.
She was screaming, "Stop it, stop it."
The response, prompted by a neighbor's call to 911, released by Cherokee County
He's probably going to have a nicer place to live here fairly soon.
911 dispatch.
I just heard his wife screaming, "Stop it," and then a bunch of shots went off, and now I can't hear her over there at all.
The initial call came in just before 11 p.m. The Cherokee County Sheriff's Office then called in the Indian Reservation SWAT team for backup, and according to the sheriff, handed it over to them. The 911 caller says the threat was real.
You heard him say that he was going to kill everybody in the neighborhood?
Yes, I even have on video, send the police, I'll get them too.
A few questions I have about this. One, nothing there indicates that there's a hostage situation. So the hostage dealio must have been something that the deputies raised when they contacted the tribal police. So again, I'm not sure that this wasn't them swatting Jason because of some maybe things that were said. I don't know. The other one is, there's something really funny about the 911 call. She's saying, stop it, and he shot 10 times? I would assume that this must have been inside the trailer? I don't know. Where was this other person that evidently heard these gunshots go off? Well, we can take a look. Okay, so here's his trailer. We'll zoom in here. And you'll notice that this is the trailer here. I don't know what this is. It looks like maybe a large shed. It doesn't look like a house. For example, there's no driveway going to it. So I don't know what this is. No idea. We can zoom in as much as we can, but I really can't make it out. Now, if somebody is living there, then they could have heard all this go down. The other nearest place is here. It's about 300 feet, about a football field away. Anybody in here is not going to be hearing that. And then there's another place here. It's about 500 feet. And across the way, maybe about 1,000 feet. So who could have possibly have made this call? He's going to know. Jason's going to know who this is. I mean, it has to be a neighbor. And that's a pretty distinctive voice. So it's rather interesting that they went ahead and played that. It's also a rather strange thing to say to somebody if you're fearing for your life. Stop it? Stop it? Really? I don't know. This is really strange. And then she claims that he said that send the cops, I'll shoot them too. He's either blindly drunk or this is fabricated. Because that's the kind of thing that I would probably say if I'm trying to swat somebody, right? If you're trying to swat somebody, you don't want the police to go out there and just simply knock on the door and like settle things. You know, find out what's going on. Okay, there weren't any gunshots after all. Let's all go home, boys. Instead, you're going to make up something like that. It's going to say, he threatened to kill you guys too if you came out there. So the possibility is there. And again, I don't want to speculate too much here, but the possibility is there is that this might have been called in as a way to sort of get even with Jason over something. I have no idea. But I don't know who could have called this thing in. But again, Jason would know if it's a neighbor. It might have been somebody who didn't even live close by, and of course, who couldn't have possibly have heard what's going on. So another few things that came up. One, I said in my video last time that the charges against him for obstructing and altercation, all that kind of thing, might have stemmed with his interactions with the police before. It doesn't look that way. It looks to me like they charged him with these crimes based on what happened inside that mobile home on video that we saw, in which case those charges are really, really trumped up. Well, they're fraudulent. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We all saw what took place. And the next question comes up is, did the police know about the video cameras? Well, one thing is that they might think that there were video cameras rolling, but there was no sound. I would suggest most of the time there is no sound. So they might have thought that none of the things that they were saying were caught on video, so let's not worry about it, right? The other one is that they might not have seen the actual video cameras, but they might have seen the screen. And if I mentioned last time, there was a screen that shows the output from all those cameras, and one of them went black. So evidently the camera got shot during the exchange.
How many shots have you heard?
All together tonight, at least 10.
Now, I spoke with the attorney for Jacob Kloepfer, who told me they will be releasing their own statement, but when I asked him, he wouldn't say when.
So she heard 10 shots? I don't understand that either. If the woman is in danger and the man is out to kill her, why would it take 10 shots to do it? They're inside a camper. The other problem is that if she's really in danger, then they went out there, she's alive. I mean, how hard would it have been to figure out that, okay, maybe she isn't hurt at all? I don't know what this police said to Jason, but I think I would have told him, hey, look, we have heard a report that your wife is in danger. We need to hear from her. If she can tell us that everything's okay, then we'll be on our merry way. And I think that would have settled it. So again, it's all very strange. Hopefully not to feed the conspiracy story, but again, if I'm a neighbor and I really want to get Jason in trouble, this is exactly what I would tell the cops. Numerous shots fired. I haven't heard from her ever since. He said that if you go out there, he's going to shoot you too. That's going to generate a massive response. I don't know. Who knows what took place here? The other thing was that apparently took one shot to the abdomen and one shot to the leg. I don't know how he got shot in the leg. All right. But he took one shot to the abdomen. I counted off about 10 shots from the actual officers. And that's all they hit him with? And I said earlier, I don't understand how the woman survived. I don't think these officers can hit the broadside of a barn. That shot in the leg probably occurred in the initial shooting. So you're supposed to be shooting for center mass and you hit him in the leg? At that range? Let's take a look at this again. Okay, the shots have ended. So how did he get shot in the leg? I don't know. And then afterwards, of course,
Shots fired.
they're still shooting and they're hitting the towels and everything. What are you guys aiming at? I don't know. Now, something that I missed last time is look at the curtain over here, or it's maybe a towel hanging from a rack. Watch what happens after he gets shot.
Shots fired.
So, well after he hits the ground, shots are still hitting that towel. I don't know how she kept from getting shot. Well, in a way, I kind of know. I'll explain here in a moment. If you're a police officer and this guy's hit the deck and you have a possible hostage there, why are you shooting? Now, I understand that, you get your emotions up, you start to shoot, and you tend to shoot longer than you're supposed to, but this is a hostage situation. You can't do that. As soon as the threat is neutralized, you have to stop. In fact, your shots should be well selected and deliberate. Obviously, they were not. And I mentioned this last time. The cops here have every advantage. They're behind a bearcat, so they're perfectly safe if they want to be. All they have to do is just kind of back away a little bit behind the bearcat, and he can't hit them. If you're behind a tree, all you have to do is just kind of back up against the tree a little, and he can't hit you. So even if he had a machine gun, he couldn't have hurt them. And they should have thought about that before he opened the door. The other thing is that this is a hostage situation, but he's just opening the door and walking out. That's kind of strange for a kidnapper. And she's behind him. I mean, you have to think about that and say there's no good reason to open fire here. He's in the light. They're in the dark. They're shining their lights on him. He can't see them. All he's going to see is blinding lights coming. So if he wants to shoot a cop, he can't. They're behind a bearcat and he can't see them. And again, you have to think about these things as you're standing outside waiting for the suspect to come out. What if he's holding a gun? What should I do? And I thought that SWAT were trained for this kind of thing, but evidently not. Now, there's also been a lot of banter going on from, let's just say, the cop haters out there. They've taken advantage of this, and of course, this is an example of the cops are probably Freemasons, and they're all getting together, and their idea is to dominate the country, and this is all part of their gang, their mob. This was a hit. Come on, give me a break. This is the act of a bunch of skittish cops who got scaredy pants and opened fire when they didn't need to. This was not a hit. These cops are not even from this area. They're from a 2-hour drive away. They didn't know Jason. They had no reason to open fire on him other than the fact that they felt scared for a moment, even though they shouldn't have. This was not a hit. It was not a gang deal. Give it a rest. Now, is it bad training? Yeah. Is it bad recruiting? Yeah. These cops should not be on the force. They should never have been on the police force, and they haven't been trained very well. So when you combine those two together, you get something like this happening. But there was no deliberate attempt to kill him. They didn't go there with the purpose of shooting him. And I'm getting kind of tired of some of the commentary I'm seeing on some of the other videos talking about how this was all part of a plot by them to lure him out of the trailer so that they could shoot him. That didn't happen. That much is pretty clear. Now, luckily, my subscribers aren't engaging in that kind of behavior. I mean, that's just lunacy. This is no different than the anti-Kyles and their Kyle went to Kenosha because he wanted to kill a bunch of black protesters. It's the same crap, right? The police went there because they wanted to kill people, and so they lured him out so that they could shoot him. Give me a break. Come on. Knock it off. So, at any rate, that's that deal. Now, I have some questions that still need to be explained. Number one, if the sheriff deputies contacted the tribal police and had them come, and they didn't show up till 5 or 6 hours later, right? What did the sheriff deputies do in the meantime? Did they stay on the premises or did they go home? If they went home and this was a hostage situation, that's absolutely lunacy. It's a hostage situation, so why are you leaving? That makes no sense at all. If they stayed, then why are you relying on the tribal police's interpretation of what happened when you go to the press? If you remember, the sheriff was saying that, hey, I'm only going by what the tribal police told me. Well, your deputies were there, weren't they? What did they tell you happened? So it's really strange. Now, the other possibility is that once the tribal police showed up, the deputies went on home and didn't see anything that happened. But that's also equally crazy. I wouldn't know. I don't know why they would do that. They would have stuck around because it's their call. Nothing makes sense about this shooting at all. It doesn't make sense. Let me know what you think. I'm going to try to get Jason on my show or his wife on my show, but I don't know how to contact him, and I'm not going to burn up any time trying to find him. If anybody wants to contact him through Facebook or something and have him contact me, you know my email address is located on my channel. He can contact me if he'd like to get on here and tell his side of the story.
According to the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office, quote, the suspected shooter engaged in a verbal altercation with officers and emerged from a camper trailer and confronted officers.
Well, that is a lie. That's a blatant lie, and they're going to have to do something about that. Even if they acted justifiably, which it sure doesn't look like they did, this is terrible. This is making you look guilty. You could have come out and said, look, there's a misunderstanding. He came out. We thought he had a gun. And looking at this thing over, it's a terrible tragedy what happened, blah, blah, blah. But to come out and levy charges against him, that just looks really suspicious. And yeah, that's not going to play out well in court.
But the video may show a different series of events that have set off a storm of controversy about what really might have happened. Mr. Kloepfer was rushed to the hospital.
Oh, by the way, I want to mention something else. A lot of you are making claims about what these officers are saying. I have played these videotapes over and over again. I have slowed them down. I have done all kinds of things to try to figure out what they said. I can't. And therefore, if you're able to make out what they're saying, you either have outstanding hearing or you're applying what we would call confirmation bias. Obviously, they do mention the fact that there are cameras. I don't know if they're talking about their own cameras or the cameras that they saw inside the camper, if they even saw those cameras, but I think they would have seen a screen there with the shots from the cameras on there. But whatever the case, be careful about what they say, because I'm not sure what they said. They don't seem to be particularly happy about the cameras being there, but again, I'm not sure. I can't tell what they're saying. Real piss poor police work, bad training, probably the wrong people in that job, but it was not intentional. They didn't go out there to shoot him, and so give it a rest. Like my video, subscribe to my channel.